Welcome everyone to the ElectricmotorGP show. My name is Nee and I'm your usual host, and we are officially in spring. Temperatures today have been beautiful, 23-24 degrees, nice and sunny, and makes you fall in love with Perth just a little bit more. Now, it's been 7 days since I took delivery of my IM6, and this is one of those cars that was on my shortlist. And if you remember, if you follow the channel, and if you're new to the channel, you will remember that I said there was a shortlist of about 5 cars that I was really interested in. Most of them were in the D segment. That's because one of the first cars I ever fell in love with that was an electric car was the MG Cyberstar. Unfortunately for me, it didn't meet the family requirements, and I couldn't justify getting a 2-seater for the family, so it had to be the D segment. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I had a shortlist. So my shortlist was the BYD Sea Lion 7, the XPeng G6, the IM6, the Zeekr 7X, and Tesla Model Y made that list. The 6th car that was supposed to be on that list was the EO7 from Depot. Now, I do have a video somewhere that at some point I'm going to dig up and release, because the Depot EO7, I took my mum for a test drive in the Depot EO7 and she fell in love with it. Now, the Depot EO7 is a multi-truck, and I'm getting distracted and I do apologize for that. And this binging and bonging is one of the things I'm going to have to comment about when we go along with this video. So those were my shortlist. Those were the 6 cars. Now, my favorite at the time was the XPeng G6. Why? Because it was intelligent, it was smart, it was efficient. It did a lot of the things it was supposed to do. Unfortunately, XPeng didn't decide to bring an all-wheel drive version to Australia, which therefore put the XPeng out of my mix. To be fair, I did put a $1,000 deposit on the car, was going to pick it up, and then decided not to pick it up later on. Then I looked at the BYD Sea Lion 7, really liked the car, was going to buy that too, only to find out that we got the short end of the stick in WA and Australia. We got the cheaper version of the car that did not come with the 800 volt architecture and came with the 82 kilowatt hour battery. Now, if you pick the all-wheel drive of the Sea Lion 7 with the 82 kilowatt hour battery, you then have a range of about 457 WLTP. Now, I've figured out the best way to convert WLTP to real world calculations. So every time you hear me say the WLTP range now, I will put the real world calculations at the bottom for you to see. So obviously the BYD Sea Lion 7 comes with an LFP battery. The LFP battery therefore means that you can charge it to 100% most of the time. But because the charging for it is going to be 400 volt and its maximum DC charging of 150, even though the curve is flatter, I chose not to go ahead with it. So I was left with the Zeekr 7X, the IM6, and the Tesla Model Y. And I promised myself I was not going to pick up a 400 volt architecture car, so automatically the Tesla Model Y went out the window, which left me with 2 cars, the Zeekr 7X and the IM6. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I kind of preferred the customer service on the MGs, and the interaction with the MG team was a little bit better than the interaction with the Zeekr team. So based on that, I chose to go ahead with the IM6. Now, there were a few things that seduced me to the IM6 as well, which the Zeekr will have matched on most levels, apart from 1 or 2 things. So let's talk about charging. The charging on the Zeekr 7X is at par or slightly better than the IM6. The charging on the Zeekr 7X for the 75 kilowatt hour battery, which is the golden brick battery, can do up to 450 in Australia, 475 internationally, especially in China. The NMC battery, which is the 100 kilowatt hour battery, can charge up to 430, 420. So I knew I was going to get the NMC battery because I wanted the 100 kilowatt hour battery. And the charging on the IM6 is 396 to be exact, but you can say 400, which therefore means that it's at par with the Zeekr 7X. So they were level. Battery wise, they were level as well, because they were both 100 kilowatt hour NMC batteries. So two things. Space wise, the Zeekr 7X is 4.89 meters and the IM6 is 4.93. So you've got more room in the IM6 than you do in the Zeekr 7X. If you then add the fact that the wheelbase on the IM6 is 2.95 versus the 2.890 on the Zeekr 7X, I kind of thought, no, that's the one I'm going to go for. Now, the thing that swayed me the most, there were two of them. And I'm going to be honest with you, some of you are going to go, makes no sense. It's not a decision that you need to have taken, but those were the things that swayed me. And I know this particular episode is supposed to be about the review of my first week with the car, and I'll come to that in a moment. The first thing that swayed me was the fact that this comes with 572 kilowatts, which is 787 horsepower, which means this car is super fast. It's got 800 Newton meters of torque compared to the 475 on the all-wheel drive version of the Zeekr, which also has 700 Newton meters, 650 or 700 Newton meters of torque. The Zeekr 7X does 0 to 100 all-wheel drive in 3.8 seconds, and this does it in 3.5. So they were about par, but this kind of edged it. What swayed me the most was the fact that this has got rear steer, which means this particular car, in tight corners, in handling, this car excels. So which then takes me to my first week in this car. Now, for some reason, I probably have enjoyed driving more than I should have, because I've done 1,000 kilometers in this car in a week. 1,000 kilometers in this car in a week. That scares the living daylights out of me, because if I keep up with the way I've done this week, I'm going to end up with 52,000 kilometers within a year. Hopefully not. But I've enjoyed driving the car, and that tells you all you need to know. The car itself is a joy to drive. The steering is soft, it's supple, the suspension is pretty good. I've had the opportunity to test drive this car, the Xpeng G6, and the Sea Lion 7 also this week again. And to be honest with you, in terms of handling, this car tops all the other cars easily. I think I've enjoyed this a little bit too much that I've started looking for excuses to get in the car to go for a drive. That tells you all you need to know. But it's not all song and dancing and not all fun. This car beeps and bongs for no reason. I think one of the things that annoys me the most is the fact that it beeps and bongs and it doesn't tell you why. That is really, really annoying. There are a couple of other things I've also found that are a little bit irritating as well. The putting your hand on the side of the car to open the door, to close the door, is a little bit ineffective. So that itself is an issue. The pilot system for driving requires a little bit more calibration, but from what I can see, it kind of adapts to you and therefore makes it a little bit more about you. So if you're driving and the car, and you use the pilot system more often, the car is going to get smarter and adapt to you a little bit more. What else have I not liked with the car? The binging and bonging. I can't get past it. It's incessant. The choice I made has come back to bite me in the bum. I chose power over range. Right. It also changes lanes. I keep forgetting to mention that it does the lane change for you when you've got pilot mode activated. Long range of the Xpeng G6, 210 kilowatts, 0 to 100 in 6 seconds, range of 570. The long range of this, 310 kilowatts, 100 kilowatt hour battery, range of 570 as well, 575 to be exact. NMC battery as well. And more importantly, it's so powerful and so intelligent, and also has the rear steer, kind of makes it very difficult for you to say that that's the one you want to go for. And it's only about $6 grand different from the long range of the Xpeng G6. Funny incidents I've had in this car. Now, Josh is sitting right beside me. Josh is one of the guys who does the post-production for the channel, and we went for a drive last week. And this is hand on heart true story. We had in WA we call them hoons, guys who go about revving their car, looking for every excuse to race everyone, trying to behave like interesting people on the roads. So we made a turn onto a side road, and we're about to go onto the motorway, and this guy came in and was revving behind us, and he was driving a BMW 4 Series M40. And he was busy harassing everyone on the road, trying to justify the reason why he bought himself a BMW. That's my take. And he revved at us and did everything, and we tried not to engage. And there's this thing on WA roads that you get when you're trying to join the motorway. They've got this system in which the roads, everyone comes onto a side road and then you can accelerate. And so he got there, he was revving. Obviously, you know that the electric cars don't rev. So we just sat quietly in the car. And most of the time you accelerate, like we're on a ramp right now, you can accelerate to 100 before you join the motorway. Most of the time people do it gradually, 80, 90, and then join the motorway and then accelerate gently to 100. So this guy was revving and we just went past him all the way to 100 in about 2 or 3 seconds. And when we got to 100, I put on my cruise control, because I use the cruise control to ensure that I don't get in trouble. This guy's too powerful for you not to get into trouble with him. And he was really upset. This is a lane change again. Changed the lane so easily, so swiftly, I didn't have to do anything. So that's one of the things I've really enjoyed with him. What Momenta has done with the software is really good, but it still needs more calibration because the ADAS system, binging and bonging, is not particularly great. So power-wise, I've enjoyed driving this car. The things I've also not really enjoyed with the car is either the car's fault or not the car's fault. The car hasn't been able to charge to its peak powers. I took it to the same charging station I took the Xpeng G6, and where the Xpeng was able to get 240, this topped out at 210, 220, and I don't know why. Even though this is supposed to be able to charge at 400. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm going to try and take it back to that charger, because unfortunately in WA there's only one charger that can charge up to 350. What else have I not really liked with this? The keys. MG, the key is ridiculous. This is the key. It looks like a toy. It's got no rings for you to attach anything to it, which then means it's easy to lose. And you only get one of these and one card. Who does that? For a car that's supposed to be premium and luxury, that is not good enough. What else have I not liked about the car? So I want to deal with all the things I don't like before sitting down and telling you the things I really enjoyed. I think that's about it. The MG kind of chipping a few things that they've done. There is massage function on this car on the driver's seat. There's none on the passenger seat, which is a bit of a shame. Both seats are heated. Both outboard seats in the back are heated. None of the 3 seats aside the driver's seats are cooled. No, I think the passenger seats is cooled as well, but the 2 seats at the back are not cooled. The seats in the back are not electronically reclining. You've got to manually recline. The boot doesn't actually look like it's 650 or 660 that it says, but it's still a big boot. I'm clutching at straws with that. Getting access to specific systems within the car is not as user-friendly as it should be, and there could be a little bit more dynamics done to make the car more user-friendly. But I've got to be honest with you, everything I've said, so I'm clutching at straws. The binging and bonging on the ADAS is really, really annoying. And for some reason, because I put it on Xpilot and it knows that I'm recording today, it's not binging and bonging as much as it normally does. I find the paddles to be fun, but I would prefer if I had the option to reduce it to 2 km/h increases rather than 5, because right now it's set up itself to do 5 km/h increases, and I would prefer for it to do 2, because therefore I've got more tight control over the increases and changes in speed limit. So that's one of the things I haven't liked. The car is not efficient. The car is not efficient. The car is not efficient. I've done 1,000 kilometers so far, 72 hours of driving in a week, which is mental. And I've got 24.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which means if I charge to 100, I would get about 420, which is what my calculation was anyways. So the real life, not the WLTP, even though it says 505 on the WLTP cycle, real world driving for this car is 420, which is not great. Now, to be fair, most of last week was cold. Most of the temperature last week was sub 15. And if you remember what I said from the test drive and the range test, when the temperature drops below 20, you get a drop. And if it drops below 15, you're going to lose about 25% of range. I've had to go charge a few times, which drives my head insane. And unfortunately, at the moment, I've only just got a level 1 charger. MG, you need to do a little bit better. You're not providing charging cables to everyone when they're buying such an expensive car. Dude, if you look at what's being offered by the other car companies, you're falling short. So I think that's about it. Now, to be fair, Bill Wangara did manage to find me a level 1 charger for me to use with the car, but that's Bill, and that's Wangara MG, because they do look after you at Wangara MG. But it should have been MG as a whole to sort that out, rather than having the dealerships having to sort that out. Now, I've got to give a shout out to Ash. She's a student at Perth Mod. She sent me an email. She's given me feedback on a lot of stuff that she's interested in and she'd like me to do on the channel. Ash, if you watch this episode, thank you very much for your feedback. We do appreciate it. You can continue to email stuff through and we'll get that sorted out for you as best as we can. I have taken your feedback on board, and I will try to do as best as I can, most of the things that you've highlighted in there. I'll do some episodes to cover the things that you want. We'll call it the Ash episode if that will make you happy. So we'll cover all the things that you want us to do. So, but for the rest of you guys, please like, share, and subscribe, and please sign up to membership on the channel. It does give us the opportunity to continue to provide you with continued coverage of the cars and everything else that we're doing. We've got a promo coming up to mark the 1st year anniversary of the channel, which is going to be the end of November. That promo, I will give you the details to it in a good. It's binging and bunging just as we're trying to end the episode today. It's just incessant after a while. You start to wonder what the heck is going on. So I will see you guys on the next one. You guys look after yourselves and take care of yourselves.